Hey everyone, here we are again, and finally with correct tutorial of guitar for beginners, the very beginners. And guess what? I am also a beginner with zero information about guitar. In fact, I just have bought this thing 5 hours ago. Sounds strange, yes? But I have previous experience with oud that might help me in addition to some other information. And we are going to learn together, being both beginners. The progress that I will do, you can also do. Just I would say something. I promise you will be able to play something at the end of this episode. So let's go ahead and start this. But before we start, let us agree on some important points. First, we learn, but learning is not enough in our case, because we should perform. And between learning and performing, there is a big space. And that space actually is the correct practice. And here's point number 2, which is the practice. You practice only for the things that you request, the things that you need practice in. Don't let other practices or other issues distract you on that. And make sure that the practice that you do should lead you to perform, because otherwise, perform should pass through this stage, the stage of practicing. So in short, if we learn some information, some idea about the playing of the guitar, remember we have to perform by our fingers at the end of the day. So we cannot do that just learning and doing. It's not possible, because your mind should take a time to figure out how he can perform this. That's where the practice should come, and the correct practice only. We'll talk about this in details on this throughout this series. Now let's go ahead and start this tutorial. Alright, we need to prepare the following. First off, we have to have a guitar. I want you to have your guitar with you. This is called acoustic guitars. There are 2 types of guitars, acoustic guitar and the electric guitar. The electric guitar provides very little sound and needs an amplifier, audio amplifier. Actually, it has an audio amplifier built in it, so that you can connect to the outside amplifiers and reverbs and pedals, so that you can amplify the audio and give the effects. Okay, this one I connect to it some microphone, because I want to attach it to some amplifier outside, although it is acoustic. That's why it's called acoustic guitar. So this kind of guitar. So that's number 1. We need to have a guitar. Number 2, maybe you will need, but it's not important in our episodes, an amplifier. Maybe you will need some effects, reverb, which is not so much important. The amplifier may increase the audio of your guitar. In case of acoustic guitar, you don't have to do that. So that's number 2 or 3, I don't know. This is all you need right now. Of course, you have to have a pick. This is where the pick is used. See this kind of pick. There is another one here. It is holded. You can hold it like this. Okay, but we're not going to use it. We are going to use our hands, because there are many schools. One of the schools is to use the hands. In this episode, we are going to use our fingers only. Okay, let's go to next. Okay, now we'll talk about the parts of the guitar. I'm not going to waste so much time of the parts, because I will post a picture on the screen to indicate the names of the parts of the guitar. But what is important to us is to know that starting from chord number 1, this is chord number 1, the above is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we have 6 chords starting from the first one here, and the upper one is 6th one. Then we have the frets, this fret and this fret. So we have frets on the neck itself. This is very important for us to know this. let's talk about tuning. Now, without tuning, your guitar will never be helping at all. You cannot use it with anything. It should be tuned. Now, there are many ways to tune it. The famous one is using the application. You can download the application that I show you. It is very practical. Or there is a device you can buy. And we have another way. I'm going to explain later without using any device, without using anything. Just use your ears. You will be able to. I have a nice and a good way. I thought about it, but I need to test it many times. So I will talk about it in on the upcoming episodes. Okay. So the first thing you have to do, first you have to know that string number 1. I showed you the pick number 1, where you can just actually tune string number 1. String number 1 is called E. String number 2 is called B. String number 3 is called G. String number 4, D, E, E. Finally, you have E. So, you can adjust string number 1. Here, start with it. And give it, tie it as much as you like. Okay? Tie it as much as. For me, I tied it to be like this. Okay? I like it to be like this. The application has actually recorded this audio. And now when I push on the E, it will give me the tone so that I can start tuning. So let's go ahead and tune. So you can see graphically that it is tuned. Let's go number B, which is number 2. See, it drifts. That's the point, guys. So if you install new chords, new strings, you have to know, or you buy a new guitar like my case, you have to know that from time to time, you have to tune. And that's the bad thing on the guitar, you know what I'm saying? You have to tune many times until they are stable. So now, if we do the tuning and finish, we'll go to after life, for example, after 30 minutes, we have to make the tuning. But by the time, it's going to stay for 1 day, 1 night, if you don't move it to travel with it or transfer it to some other places. So keep in mind that you have to tune each time you play. So let's go to string number 2. Okay, this is number 2. You see, it needs to be tightened more. Again, put the tune again. Yeah. So G. Yeah. And finally, all right. Now we tune the. Let's go to step number 2. Okay, guys, so for the left hand that is going to be used for tunes, pressing the tunes, we need to cut the fingernails very short, okay? While the opposite to the right hand, and this long or this length is okay, or even longer than this, okay, because we are going to use this one for playing, okay, and this one we are going, like pick, we are going to use the fingers here with nails. We are going to use the nails as picks, you know what I'm saying, to play, okay. And this one we need to shorten, very short, the fingernails. It is the opposite of al-oud device, instrument, where you should keep a little bit something so that you can press on the tunes, okay? So let's go ahead and cut our fingernails near 0 for the left hand. Then we'll come back. Okay, very nice. Now we can use our fingers to press on the notes, all right, vertically. Here, and here, and here. Okay. Alright guys, let's talk about playing. So you have two hands. One hand is to play and the other hand is to change the tone. Okay. The right-handed people like me, they will use the right hand as the player hand. Okay. And the left hand is the tune changer. The one that puts the fingers on the tune to change. Okay. The left-handed persons, they will do the opposite. They will use the left hand as a player and the right hand as a tune changer. But in this case, they should also change the arrangements of the chords to put the upper thinner as the thicker and the lower string as the thinner one. Okay? Right. All right. So, the player, the changer, or the tune changer. Let's start with the player hand and how you can play the strings. Okay, so here is the playing hand with the 3 fingers only to play. This is for string number 1, string number 2, and string number 3, and your thumb is to string number 4, 5, 6. Okay, 4, 5, 6, and play from here. From here. Okay. And you don't use this one for the meantime. Okay. So use this one for string number 1. Okay. String number 2. String number 3. Okay. Now the correct place where you play, okay, is from this area. Actually, this area. You leave something like 2 fingers from here and you start playing on this area. Okay, you don't have to play on the sound hole from here because the sound will come a little bit difficult. I mean, not sharp and nice like here. Okay. So when you play only one string, that's called picking. Like for instance, here's the finger here, it's picking one chord at a time. I mean one string at a time, sorry, right? So when you play many strings, 1 or more, I mean 2 or more strings at the same time, it's called strumming, like this. This is called strumming, okay? Strumming, all right? Now the correct way to use your hand as a playing hand is to make sure that you make it loosely like this, okay? And you have to have the fingers very near to each other. I mean, it's strong to put them far away like this, because later on you will make it fast like that. Alright? And if they are far away, it's very difficult for you then to perform this task, okay? And also put them in a way that they can also play very easily and nicely. I mean, you don't have to put them like this or like this. Very difficult. So in a way that is very satisfying and nicely to you and enables you to perform easily. And number 2, guys, we are going now to the tune changer hand. This is also very important, very important. So we have fretboards here. This is fret, 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 many frets, and that's the middle line here in between all these things. By the way, I don't like this middle line. It affects the chords, especially the thinner chords. So maybe by the time they will cut. Anyway, although it's smooth, but also it has an effect. You know what I'm saying? And even if it is low quality like this guitar Chinese one, it affects the tone itself of the guitar. Anyways, I mean the sound from the guitar. Anyways, so in between the frets, we have the fretboard. So this is fretboard number 1, fretboard number 2, fretboard number 3, first fretboard number 4. Halas, we stop on here. So we have 4 fretboards. That's why we use this index finger in pressing on that area, fretboard number 1. The other finger comes to fretboard number 2, and the third to the third fretboard, and the fourth to the fourth fretboard. Okay? Look at this video how you can use your fingers and come back to me. It's very important because I want you to practice on that. Very important. All right. So for the finger use, okay, you have to make sure that you push on the fingerboard, in the fretboard. This is fretboard number 1, fretboard number 2, fretboard number 3, fretboard number 4. So we're going to use these 4 fretboards, okay? Those are metal frets, okay? Okay? So the correct way is to make your hand satisfied on the neck of the guitar, and you have to make sure that your finger, once pressing, all right, is pressing nicely, and it is a little bit vertical, if you get my point. A little bit vertical. Fretboard number 1, fretboard number 4, and here is fretboard number 5. So you should put some sign here to show you this is number 5, because you start another song from here, okay? On the neck of the guitar, right? So now, to use your fingers, you should be able to use each one, this finger on fretboard number 1, okay? All the strings. This finger should be on fretboard number 2, all the strings. Sometimes you may push 2 strings different, like this, okay? You have to make sure that you have the spacing in between your fingers, okay? And also adjust your hand from here. You can have additional space at your palm by moving a little bit like this, okay? Or shortening the space by going back. It depends. So practice on that, right? The third finger to the third fretboard, and the fourth is to the fourth fretboard, okay? And make sure that once you use your finger, for instance, okay, this finger should be here, this finger should be here, okay? You are pushing in between the frets. This is a metal fret, this is another metal fret. In between them can give you the sound. Sometimes you need to go a little bit very near to the fret, metal fret itself, to prevent posing. Sometimes posing happened, okay? And make sure that it's a little bit vertical without pushing to your nails. That's why we cut off our fingernails, guys, because we don't want them to be harmed here, right? So if you can look at here, here's the correct area where you should actually push on the string. And if you are pushing with this area, then for sure you had pushed the string while your finger was vertical enough. I mean, if it's horizontal like this, it's not going to provide any sound. In addition to also pushing other unwanted strings, okay? So you practice on that, okay? And this is how we use our fingers in the guitar, okay? Okay, we have seen how you can use correctly your fingers. By the way, you may get some pain, you may get some sore skin, or the skin may be thickened, it becomes thick and painful, but that will go by the time. Anyways, and you don't have to push so much. You push, as it says in the video, the magnitude that can give you the tone, all right? So you start pushing your, putting your finger on fretboard number 1 on the upper string, which is number 6. Go to the second, go to the third, and go to the fourth like this, okay? Then the other one, Then the other one down. Then the other one down. And go back. Okay, me myself, I'm not good in that. So, but let me give you this important practice so that you can practice continuously until you get it right. Remember, now we don't have any picks, right? We have all, it's another school, it's called flamingo school. You use only your hands, okay? So, as we said, and you use your thumb for the upper three buttons, okay? And just put your fingers on the places that I told you about, all right? Second fretboard for number 6 and number 5 and number 4, okay? The arrangement is up to you, okay? Not only number 4, but also, number 3 also. So you use a fretboard number 2. That's where you put your finger, this finger. Now you will use the other finger next to it, okay? For number 2 and number 1, but on a fretboard number 3, okay? This is fretboard number 1, and for 2 and 1, you use fretboard number 3 with the specialized finger for that place, okay? So, do it again here. Simple song, my friend. Remember, I am a beginner like you are a beginner. I want you to practice on this until next week when I see you with another chords. We will start learning how to do the chords, hopefully, and we will do something tangible and very beautiful on the next episode. Stay with this channel to be able to, because I'm sure I can guarantee that me and you, we will be hopefully guitarists. See you soon. Goodbye and take care.